Developing news out of Westfield. Welcome everyone to Western Mass News 11 at 11. I'm Abby Carnevale. There's a house fire that left 2 people displaced and thousands without power, including a hospital and the city's police station. Western Mass News reporter Olivia Hickey joins us in studio after spending the evening at the scene. Olivia?
Abby, according to the state's Department of Fire Services, the fire was an accident. We're told a large branch fell and struck power lines, causing a power surge into a home in Westfield, leaving surrounding homes and buildings in the dark. Emergency crews and utility workers responded to a house fire on Grand Street before 4 o'clock Friday afternoon. No injuries were reported, and no one was inside the house when crews arrived. When our Western Mass News crews arrived on scene, we found the street blocked off as flames emerged from the house. The surge reached the home, causing the house fire and left much of the south side of the city in the dark until Friday evening. One neighbor shared with us off camera feelings of sympathy for the homeowners. According to Westfield Gas and Electric, the power outage impacted nearly 4,000 of their over 18,000 customers, including Bay State Noble Hospital, Westfield Police, and Westfield State University. We reached out to Bay State and were told the hospital has generators. The outage did not impact patient care. As of 6:30 p.m. Friday, all impacted customers had their power restored except Grand Street. Reporting. I'm told crews remain at the scene to ensure the fire doesn't rekindle due to the cold, windy weather. Reporting in studio, Olivia Hickey for Western Mass News.